Hello, my name is Kelly Coble, and this is my commodity chain project for geography. Bear with me, this is actually the first time I've used the Screencast-O-Matic, which is actually a pretty cool tool. Probably use again. Um, so yeah, we'll go ahead and just get started here. So, like I said, my commodity chain is soybeans or soy. So just a little background on soy. Soybeans originated in Asia and actually did not become important to anywhere else in the world until about the early 1900s when it made its way over to the United States. Um, it's still very important in Asia, and especially in their culture. If you think about a lot of things they do use soy for, such as tofu, soy sauce, stuff like that. So it's really important for their culture. Uh, the United States and Brazil are the world's leading soybean producers. Though the United States is the world's biggest exporter of soybeans right now, they are projecting that perhaps Brazil might surpass the United States in upcoming years, which may cause some issues, which we'll get into later. Okay, so what are soybeans used for once they're in soy form? Um, they're used for food, for humans, like some examples I just gave that are used in the Asian culture. It's also used to feed livestock. So you may be consuming soy if you're consuming livestock that have had or that have ate soy. Um, Soy is also used for fuel, flour, infant formula. It's also found in a lot of industrial products such as soaps, crayons, candles, plastic, cosmetics, and even found in ink. Here is just a short clip from a YouTube video. Just kind of gives a little insight on a soybean farm in Arkansas. So we'll play just a short clip of this.
To sundown, huge combines comb these fields, cutting the beans from the ground. Let's give you a view that you may never have seen before. Inside the giant equipment, hauling in the harvest of one of the most versatile crops in the world. Quarterbacking the soybean harvest team is Dow Brantley. Dow and his dad are partners at Brantley Farms. It's a big operation, growing more than 9,000 acres of crops each year. Now we really came at the perfect time, harvest in full swing, and here you see the soybean in the process of drying. These are almost there and these are ready to go. What did it take to get this plant to this level?
It's a lot of hard work, and this year, because of the situation, the drought, a lot of irrigation to make this crop, to make these beans. On top of that, we're working very hard to keep the weeds out of it.
Okay, so that is just a short clip of a soybean farm in the United States. I think this clip is actually kind of interesting. I like how it explains that soybeans are one of the most versatile crops in the world. That just stresses the importance of the crop. And I also like that this is a very recent video because they're talking about the drought that we had last summer. That had some impact on a crop such as this. So just one of those ecological factors that come into play with agriculture. Okay, so like I said, the United States is one of the leading producers of soy. So that's where I went ahead and started my commodity chain. Although it can come from other places, this is where I'll focus the exporting in. So I'm further zoning in on Ohio soybean farms. There's a lot of farms in Ohio that do plant and harvest soybeans. I actually grew up on a farm in central Ohio that planted soybeans every other year, so I know a little bit about it. So here's just a picture of a soybean farm. Okay, so what happens at an Ohio soybean farm? First, the seeds are planted in early spring. They're then harvested usually at the end of the summer or early fall. So like the video said, it's about a 5 to 6 month process. At this point, it's sold to a local trader, um, and then from there, it's processed. Soybeans can be processed in several different ways. This is important because it has a lot to do with how it's going to be exported. So it can be processed into soybean meal. The hulls can be separated and you can just have the raw soybean itself, and then it can be processed into soybean oil. Okay, so from the United States, we begin the export process. This is actually just a interesting graph that, although a little outdated, it just shows all the places that the United States imports soybeans and soy products to, and China being the biggest. Okay, so now the soy is then exported. Um, like I said, it can be exported, sorry about that, in all forms. Since they're considered oil seeds, they have a very lenient tariff policy. Um, However, when exported in meal form, there are stricter tariffs, and this is only because it requires less processing for the buyer. And then negotiation is always occurring on this issue. Um, a lot of issues that have to do with exporting and prices. Okay, so since China is the biggest importer of soy, this is where I'm going to end the process of the commodity chain on my project. On a side note, the European Union, Japan, Mexico, and Taiwan are also valuable purchasers of soy. Okay, so once the soy makes its way over to China, it is either sent to crush factories if it's not already in oils and meal form. So it has to take that extra step. So it's received. And then from here, it is either used for food or industrial use. And this is just a picture of a factory or plant in China that processes grains and such, including soybeans. So, okay, and then at this point, the product, whatever form it may be in, is then sent to markets and stores to make its way into consumers' hands. So here's just some examples: tofu, soy milk, and then soy sauce. And then even though I stated before that these are popular items for the Asian culture, they're also popular over in our area of the world as well. Alright, so let's just look at some issues that come with soybeans. There's some problems, sometimes not in the United States, but soybeans can be fertilized with human sewage sludge, which means that plants are susceptible to diseases. So this can be a serious issue. It's not always the healthiest option for animal feed, but however, it is extremely cheap, so it is very often used for livestock feed. The heavy use of chemicals in the growth of soy can cause land to become unusable. And then from personal experience, when we would plant soybeans, it's very hard on the earth. So that's why many times you have to switch back and forth between crops just to keep the land okay. Agricultural workers are also being displaced to make way for more soybean fields. And also a huge issue is that it's aiding and damaging the Amazon rainforest. And as I said before, Brazil is currently also one of the world's leading importers of soy. So they're cutting into, the Amazon rainforest. And here's just a picture. You can see the Amazon rainforest is over here. And then here are soybean fields butting up to it. So this is a serious issue. We obviously want to preserve our rainforest. So just moving on, why is soy so important? It creates a lot of jobs. Farmers in the U.S. benefit from soy production. In 2010 to 2011 production year, the U.S. alone produced 90 million tons of soybeans. Um, certain geographical errors, are needed for the best production, and some of those places just happen to be um, places like the Amazon rainforest or in Brazil. Um, Other countries also find success in this industry. As I said, Brazil and Argentina are on the rise due to the great growing conditions. Um, and soy also creates jobs in factories in all countries, especially those who import soy. It also creates valuable trade, though this can sometimes create tension and issues with soybeans, as I said before, because there's a very lenient tariff policy. Um, and then it's used in um, products that we use every day, so it becomes very important for many people around the world. And that is the end of my presentation. So just in conclusion, geography is very important in production of soybeans. Areas do face harm environmentally because of this crop. Working conditions in importing companies in importing countries may not necessarily be ideal. It links countries through trade. It's one of those types of products that's important to people all around the world. It aids in culture in the aspect of Asian culture foods. It's a high demand product. It creates jobs in every level of production and it has many uses. So that is why soy is important. And these are my sources. Thank you.